Billy Connelly, the rock and roll comedian. Way back in the early 70s, if you wanted information on the music scene in England, you looked to the Melody Maker, the New Musical Express and Sounds. These weekly rock papers is where you found out about album releases, tour dates, basically what was going on. Apart from one late night TV show on BBC Two, The Old Grey Whistle Test, rock music was largely given the elbow by the mainstream media. That nasty, dirty rock music, ignore it and it will go away. So there was no coverage. Another thing you could do was watch the album charts. Occasionally you'd see these, at the time, strange albums appear like Mike Oldfield's Tubular Bells, Tangerine Dream's Phaedra, and it was another way of learning about new albums, new releases. In 1974, this album appeared in the charts. Billy Connelly, Solo Concert. Who the hell was Billy Connelly? All I could think of at the time was it could be the brother of the Sweets, Brian Connelly, who'd gone out and made a solo career. When I looked for the album in my local record shops, I was told that Billy Connelly was actually a Scottish comedian, but they didn't stock the album, as most of Connelly's sales were in Scotland and the album wouldn't sell in the UK, so they just didn't stock it. And I thought, Scottish comedian, bow tie, dinner jacket, telling mother-in-law jokes? Nah, that's not for me. The next time I heard of Billy Connelly was that he'd been booked for an appearance on the UK's #1 talk show, Parkinson. Now, Michael Parkinson was, for me, the greatest talk show ever. Incredibly knowledgeable about his guests. His easygoing style brought out the best in those guests. On trotted Billy, clad in brown leather jacket and strides. And shock horror, he looked like us. Long hair, beard, moustache, and from the first minute he was brilliant. His brilliant observational humour drew us in. God, he was magical, and you could see a friendship forming between him and Parkinson. Billy made the most of his opportunity, and ignoring objections from his manager, told a bawdy joke about a man who'd murdered his wife and buried her bottom up so he'd have somewhere to park his bike. This humour was unusually forthright on a primetime Saturday night British TV show in the mid-70s, and his appearance made a fantastic impact. Billy Connelly. When I finished that show, I came back to Glasgow, and I was coming through the airport, and the whole airport started to applaud. Billy. It was a great joke, but it was incredibly edgy for its time. My manager on the way over warned me not to do it. But the interview was going so well, I thought, oh, screw that. I don't know where I got the confidence in those days. I don't know where I found the confidence. But Michael put confidence in me. I could try and describe Billy's humour, but I think he does it best himself. I wanted to be a comedian for many, many years. It was an ambition I held very dearly. I want to be as funny as ordinary guys are. I think that ordinary people are funnier than comedians. I know that sounds a bit pretentious, but I'll give you an example. If you're in a pub at lunchtime or an early evening and there's a crowd of people in from the office block next door or from the hospital, a bunch of nurses, office workers or guys from the local factory, they'll be celebrating someone's birthday and they'll have a couple of drinks and they'll be talking and they'll just burst into laughter. One of them has said an accurate thing and they will explode in laughter, and then it will continue and they will scream, they'll be spitting drinks. You'll never see them laughing like that at a comedian. Well, I always thought that's what I wanted to take onto the stage. The thing we used to do at tea times in the shipyards, eating our sandwiches around the fire, when guys would say something about the foreman and you'd be unable to eat your sandwich, just falling about all over the place. Tell the truth like it is and people will love it. They recognise it and they identify with it. But as well as being a fantastic comedian, Billy showed he was also a very, very good actor. He appeared in the mid-70s in a few episodes of BBC's Play for Today. One of these made a huge impact on me back then. It was called The Elephant's Graveyard. The story is about two strange unemployed men who meet in an old house in the woods. They find out that they are both pretending to work. They spend the day together with drinking and deep conversations. You get neither chance nor choice. You leave school and straight to work without even thinking about it. Then you get married without even knowing about it. Then spend the rest of your days using both as an excuse for never having done anything with your life. That's a quote from the play, because if you were working class in Britain back then, you were pretty much herded into the building sites, the factory floor, the shipyards. Every day the same drudgery, a life sentence, and at the end of it all, what do they give you as you retired? A bloody clock. That play inspired me to break away, take chances and choose a different life. I only had the pleasure of meeting Billy once, many years ago in the 70s. A couple of mates and myself, we travelled to this massive outdoor rock festival, one-day rock festival, but we were flat broke. We had no money to get in. After circling the venue many times, it looked like entrance was going to be absolutely impossible. Until we went right round the back and we found this access road. And who should be there, supping from a pint glass? Mr. Connelly. So, taking a chance, I walked up to him and said, Billy, and I told him exactly what we'd done. We're a bunch of chancers trying to get in. He looked at me, he smiled, and he said, come with me. He walked us past the security guards, right into the artist enclosure, and said, there you go lads, enjoy yourselves. By that time, Billy was playing arenas himself, and he was a massive star, all over the world. He could have told us just to bugger off, but he didn't. Thank you, Mr. Connelly. We had a fantastic day, and I'll never forget that. This year, 2021, Billy released his autobiography, Windswept and Interesting. And if you want an hilarious, warm, gentle, it's just a wonderful book. I can't speak highly enough of it. So if you want a fantastic read this Christmas, like I said, I can't recommend it high enough. And if you want to get it on audiobook, Billy reads it himself, which is even better. So yeah, if you want to know about Billy Connelly, all the ins and outs, the ups and downs, the highs and the lows, Windswept and Interesting is for you. Thank you for listening. Please take care, stay safe, stay well.